Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. So here's the thing. My advice to women when they're coming out of a toxic relationship or a long-term relationship that, reached that relationship burnout point and then just couldn't, get back on track. My advice to them is, there's a few things, right? First, you need to have some time to heal yourself and mourn the loss of the relationship, right? And so I suggest that you take some time to really allow yourself to feel all of the feelings that come up when you're mourning the loss of the relationship and everything that it represented to you, right? And then, of course, taking the time for introspection, figuring out who you were in that relationship and whether that's, whether there's things that you want to learn from, whether there's things that you want to make sure that you continue to do in your future relationships and things that you maybe are wanting to work on and change, right? That's where that introspection can come into play. And then finding some new passions and interests, figuring out what you're into as an individual, figuring out what your wants and needs and desires are, figuring out the things that make you happy. Because a lot of times when you've been in a long-term relationship, you've been sort of like so focused, especially if it's not been going well for a long time. You've been focusing so much energy on that relationship dynamic that wasn't working, that probably you weren't spending a whole lot of time focusing on you, right? And then, of course, therapy, coaching, counseling, all of that. I totally recommend finding someone that can help you, someone who can help you figure out maybe what patterns you might be caught in, maybe help figure out next steps, where do you want to go? How do you want to get there? What are you going to need in order to achieve that, right? So, that's where coaching or counseling can come into excuse me, come into play and be helpful. So if you're doing that kind of work, it's going to help you to grow and evolve. And I see a lot of women doing that kind of work. That's my specialty. I work with women who are coming out of toxic relationships or women who have been out of relationships for a while and they're now wanting to get back into the dating world, but they're not quite sure how how to do that. They're feeling a lot of self-consciousness and whatnot. And I see them doing all of these kinds of things that I mentioned, that I recommend. And I don't see that necessarily that same level of work being done by men. And I'm typically talking about cis hetero men, right? So we need to encourage more of that kind of work. But the thing is that women often do that work with other women, right? So we create community, and within community we heal. And so we often have other people, other women in our lives who we can talk to about our problems, not just someone, like a coach or a therapist or some other healer, helper, but just our friends in general. We have community. And I think men are going to need to learn how to create that kind of community for themselves, because we can't continue to try to create it for them, right? They need to learn these skills on their own, but we can help them and we can encourage them. And we can do that by, sharing some of the things that we do that help us. And hopefully, over time we'll break through some of the biases that they might have and some of the beliefs that they have around all of this type of work that we do. And it's not like we, do this because it's innate. We had to learn these things in order to survive in this world, right? And so you need to learn these things. If you're a man listening to this, you need to learn these skills, because that's, it's incumbent on your very survival. We are creatures of We are biopsychosocial creatures. So we are creatures who crave community and connection, right? Very few of us, and there are some people who really truly are very, very happy to be alone. But most people need other people in their lives to some extent. But you need to learn how to build deeper community and deeper connection within those communities. And, we're willing to help you, but we're not willing to take on the role of mother and teacher and whatnot if you're not willing. Well, we're not willing to do that, but we're willing to sort of point you in the right direction, right? Because it's not our job to fix you. And so even as a counseling hypnotherapist, I don't work on my husband or my family. Like, I don't do therapeutic work with my family members or whatever. All I can do is model what I would like to see in reciprocated in my relationships. But it's not my job to teach them or to heal them. They need to work with other people to do that. So if you're needing that kind of help, seek out that kind of help, because your partner is not the person whose job it is to educate you, heal you, and fix you of the things that you're needing to do on your own, in your own work, right? That doesn't mean you have to do it alone. It just means that it's your work to do, and you need to seek out people who can help you with that work. Just like women seek out other supports and resources to help them with their work, right? So that's what we mean when we say we need men to glow up. We need you to glow up and we need you to grow up. And what that means is we need you to do your own work. And until you start to do that work, you're going to keep butting up against that wall of, the lack of connection and the lack of deep connection that you're craving. And so I know a ton of amazing male coaches and therapists who I'm happy to refer. Anytime a man reaches out to me because they've come across my videos or whatever, I am happy to help you find someone to work with. I tend to work mostly with women. That's not to say that I won't work with a man. But generally speaking, I think that it helps to kind of stay in my own niche, and my niche is to help women through relationship difficulties or to recover from relationship issues. So, but to that end, I'm here for you. Please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help you to find someone to work with. I'm happy to, give a listening ear and maybe some advice if you like. And so, yeah, please feel free to reach out. You're not alone. There are resources and helpers and healers out there wanting to help you to level up, to glow up, and to grow up. So thank you, and have a great rest of your day. Namaste.